Alright, gang, it is time to talk about a little movie called Gunhead. This movie has been on my back wall for quite some time, and when I would do other reviews, frequently in the comments, I would get a little comment in the comments, which is where they belong, that, hey, you should review Gunhead. I see it on your wall back there. Here, I'll do the voice how I imagine it sounds. Hey, I hear, I'll do it, hold on. That's, hey, I hear you're, I just happened to pop in. There, I locked it in. I happened to pop in and watch one of your videos, and I see you've got Gunhead on your back wall. I'm a big fan of Japanese cinema. I would love to see your review on that movie sometime. Stuff like that. So yeah, I watched it. I finally watched Gunhead. And I don't really have a whole lot of positive things to say about it. Well, that's not true. I do have a lot of positive things to say about it, but unfortunately, this movie was so boring. I watch a lot of Japanese and Chinese and Korean movies, especially from back in the day. And the one thing that I think is pretty consistent, maybe is a little different now, but especially older movies, there is a cultural difference as far as the pacing of movies, pacing and tone, and movies have a language to them. And movies made by other countries and other cultures, they have their own language too. And the big difference for me usually comes down to pacing. And Gunhead was so slow and sets up a really cool premise, has lots of really good visuals, seems to have a pretty good cast for the most part, although I hate the English dub, and this unfortunately is an English dub version. And we'll talk about that, because I just hate anime voiceover performers. I think there's this weird, I'm not part of the cult, there's some anime that I really like, but for the most part I'm not a big fan. But there are these, every anime, and especially every anime, or even just Japanese movies, like live action, whatever it was, everything coming over in the maybe early 90s, everything was voiced by all of these same voiceover artists, and I hate their voices. They can't act. I'm sorry, but they cannot act. They have clean professional voices, and that's, I guess, why they started getting this job, and then it kind of turned into a thing, that's how anime dubs are supposed to sound. But they aren't actors. They're actors, but they're bad actors. And I just hate it. And every time I see these, the real people, there's always just this weird smugness to them and their world. So right off the bat, I hate the voices. I hate the English dub in this movie. I would probably like this movie a lot more if I could see just a subtitled version of it with the original language. But there just are story structure, not problems, but just it's not my thing. The movie starts off with these characters getting to this isolated or desolate island. You know what? I didn't even read the back of the box. Let's read the back of the box. It's actually pretty... No, it's not short. Never mind. On July 4th in the year 2025, the Chiron 5 supercomputer declared war on the world. So think Skynet. The Allied forces attacked Chiron's I base. Does that say I base or base? Chiron's, we'll say base. Island 8JO. Nobody won. Now, 13 years later, a small team of techno bandits and a lone Texas Air Ranger are about to land on 8JO. Get ready for the ultimate cyber rumble. And then, I'll read this real quick. Prepare for the ultimate in hardcore heavy metal action as beautiful but deadly Sergeant Nim, Cyber Whiz Brooklyn, and a hit team of ruthless techno thieves take on an entire island controlled by an renegade computer that wants to rule the world. It's a raging inferno of pyrotechnics as the forces of super science collide with brute strength and human ingenuity. At stake, a precious vial of radioactive isotope and the fate of the human race. Mankind's last hope is the 30-foot armored battle robot GUNHED. With an international cast, so there's one person who's not Japanese, but that's fine. With an international cast, stunning state-of-the-art special effects, and amazing full-scale robots. GUNHED is the wildest cyberpunk adventure ever. A multi-million-dollar science fiction blockbuster guaranteed to blow you out of your home theater and into the year 2038. Okay. Most of what it said is true, except for anything where it alluded to it being exciting or entertaining. All the model work, there's a lot of... This is from Toho, if I remember right. I swear I read that. Yes, it's from Toho. Obviously famous for Godzilla movies. So there's a lot of pretty great miniature work with these giant robots fighting each other. And these, obviously giant sort of smoky, steamy, wet, industrial sets. Both the full-size sets that the actors were in, and then miniature sets that the battle robots were in. All that stuff is really well done. I have nothing but praise for the model work, for the set design, for the really anything of a visual nature. GUNHED really excelled. The problem is the main characters get to this island. They get separated. A few of them get killed. There's this weird sort of bio. You sort of see it in the trailer here. It's like this half biological, half technological creature that's coming for them. It looks pretty stupid, and now I can't remember what I was going to bring up about it. But the point is they're getting a lot of them get killed right away. Who's left, they start getting picked off, and it kind of that happens right away, and then the rest of the movie is just them trying to escape the island, trying to kill the the mother brain of this supercomputer, and it is so slow. It is so slow. You know how if you've been up for a couple days and you're studying for a test or you got something to do or whatever, and you just have to stay awake, but it's been 48 hours or whatever, and you're splashing water on your face trying to stay awake. That's what it was like watching this movie, but I wasn't tired. I was just so bored that the movie was actually making me like my body was rejecting the movie. Like, no matter what I did, I was trying to focus on it, and I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it other than that. Great, like I said, great visuals. The English dub sucks, and I hate anime. I hate the culture of anime voice actors and like the worship of them. I think they all do a terrible job, and I greatly welcome the move to having real actors, or at least just real voiceover actors, take over this role, because you're killing the final product. I should tell a story about a movie that I really like called Cutie Honey. And the first time I watched it, I watched the English dub because that's just what was like automatically played on the DVD. And I really liked the movie, but the main character, I hated the main character. She had some good emotional scenes towards the end of the movie, but for the whole movie, she was just a squealing idiot. And thankfully, I liked the movie enough, and there were, again, it was a lot of great visuals, a lot of cool stuff going on, and I liked the story and the characters. But the next time I went to watch it, I was like, well, I'm gonna watch it in Japanese. Put subtitles on. That's the beauty of DVDs. So I turned the Japanese language on, turned the English subtitles on, and the main character of Cutie Honey was a totally different character, and it was just all in the voice. Obviously, the visuals didn't change, but the American dubbing Cutie Honey was playing her like a squealing moron. And the real actress was playing it like a person. And it makes me wonder if these anime voice actors and actresses, do they even listen to the original performance at all? Do they get a sense of the intent of a performance, or do they just get into the booth and squeal their lines and collect their paycheck? Like, it was a perfect example of how this style of voiceover artist can wreck a performance, can potentially wreck a movie. So once again, I give Gunhead a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, because I know I would like it better if I had a subtitled version. But ultimately, I think it's too slow. Visually, it's fantastic, but it is just the story structure creates so much downtime, so much slow, boring, quiet in a movie that looks like a badass action movie, and it is occasionally. There's just way too little going on. Oh, and there's this nightmare of a little kid that our heroes eventually find that was like living on the robot island. That kid is like, I was gonna say that kid is like the Jar Jar Binks of this movie, but that is an insult to Jar Jar Binks, I think. Jar Jar Binks was a more compelling character than this kid. Every time that, and once again, a lot of it boils down to the voice performance. Just when that kid was on screen, when that kid was running his little mouth, couldn't deal with it. Could not deal with it. So there you go.